Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Phantom Saberlight here, and I'm coming to you with the very first Week 1 SDL battle. uh, we are the Chicago Beartics, and we are playing our opponent, Snoop Dab, the London Leavannys. Um, if you guys watch my team builder, you'll notice that I predicted four of his mons that he would bring. Technically three. I predicted him to bring the Mega Scizor, the Talonflame, and the Landorus. And I was questioning whether or not he would bring Crawdont because I felt as though he could. And then he bring two Pokemon that I sort of didn't expect him to bring, but yeah, he brought the Spirit Tomb over the Shift Tree. I thought he would bring the Shift Tree to take advantage of the sun, but I definitely understand why he brought Spirit Tomb in order to try and burn all of my physical threats, such as Excadrill, Tyranitar, and Feraligatr. And then he brought his X-Plowed over the Porygon 2. I understand why X-Plowed, he decided to bring X-Plowed. It hits really, really hard. The only Pokemon that can really take a hit on my team is the T-Tar, and if he goes for Focus Blast, then unfortunately our T-Tar does get O-Code. um, so, unfortunately, this is a post record or post commentary, excuse me, because during the battle I had a few technical errors with my recording. During the middle of the battle, my mic cut out. I tried to fix it, but I'm not really good at editing. So, but luckily, my opponent saved the replay. Uh, I saved my replay as well, but for some reason it wasn't showing the Pokemon, so I don't know, which makes no sense because this is the exact same replay, it's just from his side of the field. But it doesn't matter, it's fine. We'll just be looking at the battle from his side of the field. So yeah, let's just get on with the battle. I believe I decided to lead off with my Miltank. Oh, also, really quickly. Um, so yeah, I lead it off with my Miltank. Got Milk, our Miltank, and he lead it off with Demeter, the Lando T. Also, the very first, I believe it was 4 turns, we reenacted our battle because previously we had another battle, and he ended up forgetting a move on one of his Pokemon, so we decided to restart. um, so yeah, if some of the moves look kind of maybe really quick and kind of questionable, that would be the reason why. So yeah, anyway, I'm actually going to put this on normal speed. He goes for the U-turn. I decide to click my Stealth Rocks. He's going to U-turn out into Boombox. Boombox is going to be able to threaten out my Miltank. So I'm going to switch out into my Ramen, scouting for the Focus Blast if he would go for that first, but he actually makes a great play and just goes straight for the Boom Burst. So then I know to switch into my T-Tar to be able to take the Boom Burst. I believe he switches out into his Lando as I switch out into my Hydreigon. The last turn was the very last turn, so it was 3 turns that we played through and then we restarted. In my mind, I was thinking that he would not stay in with his X-Cloud, obviously, and I don't know, I figured he would switch out either into his Lando T or his Mega Scizor, but I felt it was more probable he would choose the Lando T. And I decided to make a hard switch out, or excuse me, a double. Did I make a double switch? I think I did. Yeah, I did make a double switch. I made a double switch out into my Hydreigon, expecting this. Um, I am Choice Scarf. The only way he outspeeds me is if he is also Choice Scarf, so I should be able to outspeed him. And so I decide to go for the Draco Meteor as my opponent does not have a switch in for Draco Meteor. The only thing that can take Draco Meteor is his Scizor, which you can clearly see takes a clean 47% just from the Draco Meteor. So, with that in mind, I decide to switch out into my Megazard Y as he goes for the Defog to get rid of the Stealth Rocks on his side of the field. I look at my opponent's team. He does not have switch-ins for Megazard Y, so I just decide to Mega Evolve and go for the Flamethrower as my opponent decides to switch out into his Talonflame. Judging by the damage, that this Talonflame is clearly especially defensive, but it does not matter because I go for Ancient Power and it knocks it straight out. So he is going to decide to switch out into his Mr. Krabs. I go for the Flamethrower. The reason why I went for this is because I did not have Solar Beam, and I didn't really want to switch out on anything because I decided that if he went for Crab Hammer, it wasn't the worst thing for me because it would obviously knock out my Megazard Y. If he goes for Aqua Jet, it won't hurt that much. So I just decided I'll go for Flamethrower. I know it won't kill, but at least it will do some damage to him. As he goes for the Dragon Dance, and now this is a very scary threat on my opponent's side of the field. I switch out to my Juggernog to get up the sand, hoping that possibly his Crawdaunt would not have Aqua Jet and I could outspeed him with Excadrill and just kill him. Unfortunately, he does have Aqua Jet and he knocks my Excadrill clean out. So, with that in mind, I actually go out into my Tangrowth. He goes for the knockoff. He crits me. The crit did not matter as even if it was the lowest of low rolls, I would have been left with 2% and then Sandstorm would have knocked me out. But thankfully, Sandstorm is also able to knock him out. So he goes out into his Lando and I go out into my Hydreigon. He makes a switch out into his Spiritomb. I once again just go for Draco Meteor because my opponent has no switch-ins. And right here I was thinking about whether or not I should go for another Draco Meteor, because if I went for a Draco Meteor and he just decided to sack off his Spiritomb, he could pretty much switch into his Scizor and be able to revenge kill me with Superpower or Bug Bite or U-Turn. Also, X-Cloud will be able to get a free switch in as I will be at -2 attack, and X-Cloud will be able to take a Draco Meteor and then proceed to knock me out with a Boom Burst, which is sort of what I expected him to do. But I decided that if he does stay in with his Spiritomb, and I knock it out with Draco Meteor, he goes out into his Boom Burst, the X-Cloud. I decided that I would just sack off my Miltank, so I went for the Draco Meteor. He decided to stay in, and that'll take down the Spiritomb. And as I had thought before, he does go out into Boombox his X-Cloud. So like I said, I'm going to sack off my Miltank as that is going to drop me down to 3%. Unfortunately, Sandstorm will be able to take me out. Now, right here, I really had to hope that at least one Draco Meteor would be able to knock out the X-Cloud. My opponent makes the better play and switches out into Mega Scizor as I go for the Draco Meteor and unfortunately miss. Because of this, I knew that Mega Scizor is a bit more bulkier than regular Scizor, so I knew that he could take the Draco Meteor now from my Hydreigon. So I decided to switch out into my Megazard Y as he goes for the Superpower, and that's going to do a small amount of damage. And I'm just going to go for the Flamethrower as my opponent just safely sacks off his Mega Scizor. Now, I was running HP Ice on my Mega Charizard Y as that would be able to OHKO the Landorus. But if he was Scarfed, he wins this game. So I was really hoping that he was leftovers, but considering how my opponent played during this game, I was pretty sure he was Scarfed, but even if he was, there was nothing much I could really do. Even if I switched out into my Hydreigon, two Stone Edges would be able to knock me out. So I just stay in with my Charizard. He knocks me out with the Stone Edge. My opponent makes a good play by switching out into his Boombox to sack it off. And then he will be able to go into his Landorus, outspeed my Hydreigon, and go for Superpower to knock me out. So, unfortunately, the Chicago Beartics will lose this match 0-1. It was very unfortunate. Really well played by my opponent, as he played very well. He knew what was his win condition, as it was clearly Lando T, as it outsped everything on my team. Due to the fact that it was Choice Scarf, and due to the fact that my Hydreigon was not max speed. The reason why I didn't have Hydreigon as max speed is because I figured if Lando was Choice Scarf max speed and able to outspeed my Hydreigon, my Tangrowth was a good switch-in. There are a few things that I want to touch up on. Like I said, my my opponent was very fantastic, and he played extremely well. So props to him, and his link will be in the description below. But yeah, onto the things that I wanted to touch up on. The Crawdont, I just feel as though I played just really bad against, and it just wasn't good. I sacked off 3 Pokemon to it, that being my Tyranitar, my Excadrill, and my Tangrowth. As Tangrowth was a very key part to this game, as it basically checked my opponent's Landorus T. So yeah, sacking off those 3 Pokemon to the Crawdont was just a really bad play, and I really do regret it. But there's nothing you can really do after the game has already been played. All you can do is just look back at your videos and just see what you did wrong, and hopefully learn from your mistakes. But yeah, instead of sacking those 3 Pokemon, what I should have done is switched out into my Hydreigon to take any 2 hits from his Crawdont, even if he was at +1, because I had a lot of HP investments. And not only that, but because I was Choice Scarf, I do believe that I outsped him, and I should have just been able to knock him out with a simple U-turn, considering he was already at such low health. So yeah, that's that part. And then there's a few other things that I want to touch up on actually. My team builder, I had Tangrowth as a max HP, max special defense Assault Vest user. I had planned on particularly using it to sponge up hits from X-Cloud. Now, clearly somewhere in my calcs I went wrong, as you see during the battle, the Tangrowth is easily 2-hit KO'd by the X-Cloud, so it was really clear that it was not the check, and it was just poor planning on my part. Anyway, if I would have just checked my calcs, I would have created a much better set for my opponent, such as max defense, max HP, as that would have been able to completely counter the Landorus, as Landorus was a pretty huge threat to my team because it was Choice Scarfed. So, besides all that, like I said, my opponent played really well, and you just learn from your mistakes, and you come back next week and you get a win. And that is definitely what I plan on doing next week. So yeah, I really hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week, and with that, I am out.